It's been a hot minute since we've done a history and mythology video here on the channel, and I'm pretty excited for another one. As always, if you enjoy these looks into the myths and history behind some of your favorite anime and manga, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more, as well as leaving a comment to let me know who I should talk about next. But with all that YouTube stuff out of the way, I just want to get into this video. In the most recent episodes of Yashahime, we've been introduced to a new demon named Nanahoshi. And something pretty noticeable about him stands out immediately. His teeth are completely black, which, I'm gonna be totally honest, typically is a deal breaker for me. But what's interesting is that there's actually a decent amount of history when it comes to black teeth in Japan that goes pretty far back. So today, we're going to be talking about Ohaguro. Dating back as far as the Kofun period, around the years 300 to 500, and even appearing in what is widely considered the world's first novel, Genji Monogatari, in the 12th century, it is pretty fair to say that Ohaguro has been a staple part of Japanese culture in some way for quite some time. That said, we also see it in plenty of regions all over the world. This includes parts of China, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, India, and even in the Americas with Peru and Ecuador. Now that said, we are focusing on Yashahime here, so we're going to talk about its history in Japan specifically for this video. The practice of blackening one's teeth is called Ohaguro, and it was done for a few reasons. On the surface level, the idea of pitch black objects being incredibly beautiful was pretty prevalent at the time. We also see this around the world with things like obsidian, onyx, and black opal. So, while it might not be the most modernly attractive idea, I can definitely see where this concept stems from. What's interesting is how different periods of Japanese history would use Ohaguro in different ways, or how we would see different people practicing it. Towards the end of the Heian period, a few select groups, more often upper-class people or aristocrats, would dye their teeth black. When it came to nobility in the imperial family, they might also couple this with hikimayu, or the practice of painting eyebrows, and this trend would kind of continue until the Edo period. The Muromachi period saw Ohaguro more often being practiced by adults, while the Sengoku period would have people blackening the teeth of young daughters of prominent members of military or nobility, typically girls about the age of 9. This would mark their coming of age and availability to be married. It was a different time. You might also find soldiers in this era whose heads were injured, and to avoid feeling ugly, they might wear makeup or blacken their teeth to kind of limit any negative stigma towards them. Now, after the Edo period, teeth blackening became a little bit more rare. Men in the imperial house and a select few other nobles would blacken their teeth, while women who were married or women who were unmarried but were well into their adulthood, as well as sex workers, were really the only people who would blacken their teeth. More rural folk might do it for specific celebrations, but rarely outside of that. So, we've talked about when and who would do this, but now let's talk about why and how. The practice of Ohaguro typically involved iron shavings being dissolved in vinegar to produce kanamizu, which is basically just ferric acetate. This would be mixed with galnut powder or tea powder to create something black that water wouldn't really be able to remove. More or less, it's like a black ink made from iron. They would then coat their teeth with this black ink either once a day or every few days if it wore away a little bit slower. And this is just kind of one example of a way that this could be done, but there are definitely other ways with different bases for the ink. However, in every case, one of the main benefits of practicing Ohaguro was to protect the teeth from tooth decay. You could almost think of it as a very early form of toothpaste. Now, the final thing that I want to mention in this video is that it actually shows up in a yokai as well, that being the Ohaguro Betari. This was a woman in a stunning wedding dress who tried to lure in men around shrines and temples. All the while, she would hide her face. However, once a man got close enough, she would reveal it, only to realize that where her face should be is instead a flat surface covered in makeup, with a mouth filled with black teeth. When men saw this, they would tend to be understandably shocked, and the Ohaguro Betari would start laughing at them. I've also done a video on the yokai called the noppera-bō, specifically when looking into the inspiration behind Muso in Inuyasha, and this yokai is effectively a variant of that. So with all that being said, I hope this gives you an idea of what it means that Nanahoshi from Yashahime will have black teeth, or what it means for characters in other series like Kozumi Higurashi in One Piece, or just any other medium where you might see characters or people with blackened teeth. Typically, it's a sign of nobility, beauty, or just an all-around pretty effective way for less developed or in modern times less financially prosperous areas to protect their teeth. I think this is actually a pretty interesting bit of history and regional culture that many of us might not get to experience too regularly, so I'm hoping you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more history videos in the future. But for now, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I hope you all stay excellent.